In 2026, the world of missile technology is evolving rapidly, with nations racing to develop systems that offer greater range, accuracy, and strategic leverage. Among them, Iran continues to maintain a significant regional missile capability, a legacy built on decades of engineering, geopolitics, and deterrence. One of the most significant weapons in its arsenal is the Qiam Missile, a short-range ballistic missile that reflects Iran's persistent innovation in the face of international sanctions and military pressure. You're watching Motor Authority, and in this episode, we're taking a deep dive into one of Iran's most talked about SRBMs, the Qiam. What makes it unique? Why is it important? And how does it fit into the larger picture of Middle Eastern defense strategy in 2026? The Qiam missile, first revealed in 2010, has undergone several upgrades in the last decade and a half. Initially built as an evolution of the older Shahab-2, the Qiam represented a bold step in design for Iran. One of the most defining features of the missile is its lack of fins, a significant deviation from traditional Scud-derived ballistic missiles. By eliminating fins, Iranian engineers reduced the radar cross-section and made the missile more stable during the boost phase. It was a statement. Iran was no longer just copying Soviet-era technology, it was creating its own designs. With a maximum range of approximately 750 to 800 kilometers and some reports suggesting that upgraded versions may now reach close to 1,000 kilometers, the Qiam fits squarely in the category of short-range ballistic missiles, or SRBMs. This makes it ideal for regional deterrence, capable of striking military and infrastructure targets in countries like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Israel, or even parts of southern Europe, depending on launch location and missile variant. Over the years, Iran has repeatedly demonstrated its commitment to upgrading the Qiam platform. In 2017, a version of the missile was used in a high-profile retaliatory strike against ISIS positions in eastern Syria, demonstrating not only range but also precision, a key aspect that separates modern missiles from their Cold War-era ancestors. That strike wasn't just military action, it was a live-fire message to Iran's adversaries that its missile force is not symbolic. It's operational. Now, fast forward to 2026. The latest iterations of the Qiam, often referred to as Qiam-2 or even unofficially Qiam 2025 in defense circles, reportedly feature enhanced guidance systems, lighter composite materials, and refined propulsion systems. Satellite imagery and open-source intelligence suggest that these missiles now employ a combination of inertial guidance and terminal phase maneuvering to improve hit accuracy. Circular error, probable A or SEP-A, has likely been reduced to under 100 meters, making the missile suitable for striking hardened or high-value targets with conventional warheads. Iranian military doctrine emphasizes asymmetric warfare. With its air force limited by aging platforms and international embargoes, missiles like the Qiam serve as a strategic equalizer. They can be launched from mobile platforms, hidden in tunnels or camouflaged bunkers, making them hard to detect and even harder to neutralize pre-launch. This mobility, combined with increasing accuracy and destructive power, makes the Qiam not just a deterrent, but a flexible asset in Iran's regional posture. What's also crucial to understand is the Qiam's role in Iran's larger missile ecosystem. Alongside other SRBMs like the Fate 110 and the Zulfikar, as well as longer-range systems like the Imad and Khorramshahr, the Qiam fills a niche. It offers more range than solid-fuel tactical missiles but remains more agile and harder to intercept than Iran's heavier, medium-range ballistic missiles. In other words, it's the backbone of Iran's regional strike capability, quick to deploy, hard to trace, and deadly when used. There are, of course, Limitations. The Qiam still relies on liquid fuel, which complicates launch procedures and increases vulnerability during fueling. Liquid-fueled missiles take more time to prepare for launch, require more infrastructure, and are more dangerous to handle compared to solid-fueled alternatives. Despite this, Iran seems willing to accept the trade-offs. Liquid fuel offers better control over thrust and, in some cases, greater range-to-weight ratios, a factor that may explain Iran's continued investment in dual propulsion tracks. Western intelligence reports over the past few years have increasingly noted Iran's capability to integrate Qiam-class missiles with underground missile cities, a vast tunnel networks reportedly spread throughout the country. These missile cities, built into mountains and shielded by reinforced concrete, serve as both storage facilities and operational bases. They allow Iran to launch a retaliatory strike even in the event of a first strike attack against surface launch sites. But perhaps the most game-changing aspect of the Qiam's evolution is its integration with real-time battlefield intelligence. Iran's growing satellite program, combined with increasingly sophisticated drones, is now reportedly feeding targeting data to missile units, potentially allowing for dynamic retargeting, a capability once reserved only for top-tier militaries. If true, this changes the calculus entirely. Missiles like the Qiam are no longer just strategic, they're tactical and adaptive. In recent years, analysts have also warned about Iran's willingness to export or share this technology with allied militias and proxies. Qiam variants or similar derivatives have allegedly found their way into the hands of groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis. These groups have conducted missile strikes in Yemen, Iraq, and even Saudi Arabia. The implication is clear: the Qiam isn't just a national asset, it's a regional multiplier. Of course, these developments have not gone unnoticed. Countries within range, particularly Israel, Saudi Arabia, and U.S. forces deployed in the region, have accelerated missile defense programs. Systems like the Iron Dome, Patriot, and THAAD are specifically tasked with intercepting threats like the Qiam. However, interception isn't always guaranteed. In any saturation attack, even a small percentage of missiles slipping through can cause substantial damage. As we look toward the future, the question becomes, what's next? Will Iran shift entirely to solid-fuel missiles? Will the Qiam continue to evolve with stealthier profiles and advanced countermeasures? Or will geopolitical developments curb Iran's missile ambitions? Whatever the answers, one thing is certain: the Qiam missile, now in its mature and upgraded form, represents more than a tool of war. It is a symbol of Iran's technological perseverance, a pillar of its deterrence doctrine, and a constant variable in the ever-changing equation of Middle Eastern stability. For military analysts and defense enthusiasts, understanding systems like the Qiam is not just about hardware. It's about strategy, psychology, and the relentless pursuit of advantage in a region where the balance of power can shift in moments. Thanks for watching Motor Authority. If you're into high-tech military systems, global defense strategy, or just want to understand how the world's armed forces prepare for tomorrow's challenges, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what missile or system you want us to cover next. Until then, stay sharp, stay informed, and remember, power doesn't just come from firepower. It comes from understanding the systems that shape our world.